This is a remake of one of my older videos where I rank, well, every single track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, the Booster Course Pass Waves 1 and 2 have released, which obviously added courses to the game, and since my opinions have changed quite a bit, I decided to remake this video. But since the Booster Course Pass isn't entirely released yet, every time a new wave is released, I'll go over every single one of the tracks and put them onto the list that I have right now, until all of them release, and then I'll remake it completely. So yeah, that's really all the rules that I have. It's just a track ranking video. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Some things just never change. This track sucks. It's so incredibly boring and a pain to play on 200cc. I usually like the generic Mario Kart tracks, but in this case it just feels patronizing because it's a city course. It should feel more unique in my opinion. I don't really like the aesthetic, and again, it's just not fun to play on in 200cc, which is my preferred play to play the game. I don't know, it's probably not objectively the worst track, but it's my personal least favorite. Baby Park is actually a pretty fun course in its original game, because Double Dash is easily one of the most chaotic Mario Karts, with Bowser shells and chain chomps flying everywhere. It's extremely fun. But in Mario Kart 8, the items are much more balanced, making this track honestly really boring. You just hold right, and honestly get hit with less items than a normal race because everyone's so close together. There's no shortcuts to take to cut ahead of the pack, and because Mario Kart 8's items are calculated by how far away the leader is, it leads to much less crazy scenarios. I really don't like this rendition of Baby Park, but hey, it's better than its version of Mario Kart DS. Our first DLC track. Well, actually, the last two we looked at were DLC in the original Mario Kart 8, which is interesting. This is also our first 1-star course. The last two were 0 stars, which just means they were the worst of the worst. These ones actually have a little bit of merit. But anyway, Mario Circuit 3 is easily the most basic course in this game. I usually really like the basic courses, as you'll come to see, but this one has absolutely nothing to call its own. It's completely flat with like 2 hazards and maybe 1 boost panel, and the worst part is that they brought back the worst Mario Circuit from Super Mario Kart. 1, 2, and 4 are much better in my opinion, with 2 being my personal favorite because of that huge jump. It actually makes it kind of unique. But other than that, like, what else does this course have to call its own? Like, it's like, some of these courses are basic, but not to a fault, but this course is. It's just bad, okay? And I don't really see how anyone can really like this track, but yeah. Another incredibly basic course. Cheep Cheep Beach is about as uninteresting you can make a beach course. Like, you go in the water now, which is somewhat interesting, but the jungle section honestly feels really out of place, and a way to just circle back around to the starting/finish line. It's not necessarily a bad track, but it's not impressive. This track is like Cheep Cheep Beach, but it's a desert and not a beach. This track was actually pretty good in Double Dash. It was interesting and had a lot of personality. But for some reason, they stripped it of said personality in this version. Like, the sand pit used to have a giant piranha plant swallow you if you went in the middle. That's fun. But in this version, they just got rid of that, including many other things that added to its personality. Like, it's one of the few remakes in 8 that I feel subtracts from the original, which just makes it bad in my opinion. Hyrule Circuit is fine. It's not bad, but it's genuinely so boring. It's not themed after any Zelda game. It's got generic guards and enemies. There's one enemy from the actual Zelda games, and it's just a reskin of a piranha plant. There's nothing to call this track its own, which is disappointing because it's a Zelda themed track. I felt they could have done a lot better than this. Starting off the 2-star tracks, Mario Kart 8's Rainbow Road is one of the most basic Rainbow Roads in the series, which, like Hyrule Circuit, is incredibly disappointing. Mario Kart 7's Rainbow Road was spectacular, and with anti-gravity, Mario Kart 8's Rainbow Road is just boring. They could have done so much more, which just makes me sad. It's fun, but it's nothing special. I'm not entirely sure why they brought this one back. It's fine in Wii, and it's fine in 8, but like, why? Ever wonder what a sewer looks like? Yeah, it's fine, but it just feels unremarkable. This isn't Sky Garden. It's a completely different track. And while it's fine, I kind of feel bad because this is supposed to be Sky Garden. And Sky Garden is a great track, specifically in DS. Also, I really don't like the cloud texture. It just looks like a liquid, which just makes me kinda uncomfortable. I mean, I like the waterfall segment of this course, but everything else is just painfully average. I've never really liked Yoshi Valley. It kind of just feels overly long to just be a long track. And Mario Kart 8 got rid of the really charming thing where the track labels every placing as a question mark, which is really funny. Like, Mario Kart 8's rendition obviously gets rid of this, but it kind of just adds to my non-enjoyment of this track. And like, the different paths are unique, but it kind of just doesn't make much sense to me because going over the bridge will always be the fastest route. So I just always go that way, so why would I go any of the other ways? It just, I don't know. Don't really like this course, but it's fine enough. Everyone hates this course, and I understand why. It looks awful, and it was a really boring course to add for the booster course pass, but I don't know, I kinda like it. I've never really liked the stadium courses. I find them kinda boring, and this one's fine. I like how it incorporated anti-gravity into the track design, but yeah, it's just meh to me. This one's pretty fun, but I'd rather play pretty much anything else. I'm not exactly sure why this one has become a fan favorite. It's just a figure 8. Excluding the cars, there's not much separating this course and Toad Circuit, which everyone hates Toad Circuit. And honestly, I find Toad Circuit a bit more fun, but the cars at least make it more unique, and I do like the aesthetic. I kinda like SNES Rainbow Road. I do enjoy the thwomps that make the track wave around, but honestly it's just kinda flat, so it's nothing special. It's fun. There's not much more to say about this course. The 3-star courses are the ones that are great, but ones that I still have problems with, starting with Dragon Driftway. I really like the aesthetic, but parts of the course are a bit too curvy, making it unfun in 200cc, but it's not at all as bad as Neo Bowser City, and when it's not on 200cc, it's really good. It has an interesting theme, but the course honestly doesn't take advantage of it as much as I'd like, making a fun but unimpressive course. These cones are really fun to knock down though. Mario Kart 64's Rainbow Road is a beloved track, and I kinda feel bad for ranking it so low because it's a beautiful course. But because they split it into 3 sections instead of 3 laps, it's incredibly short and loses a lot of the charm of the original in my opinion. It being so long in Mario 64 was just charming. Like, it was long and grueling to complete, but that made it fun in its own way. It's good, but I honestly am a bit underwhelmed. I really like how this track changes its layout every lap, but none of the layouts are very interesting. They're all fine, but combining them makes them pretty good. Mute City is good, but a future F-Zero track kinda blows this one out of the water, leaving this course on the wayside. A lot of people probably just clicked off the video. Anyway, I understand why Waluigi Pinball has become a fan favorite. It's got an amazing theme and music, and while I like it, I'm not the huge fan I'm sure everyone else is. It's true it's got an amazing theme and some great music, but the layout itself is just kinda meh. You spend like 5 seconds on the actual pinball table, most of the track taking place on generic floating platforms, and also I don't like how it's now the only course to have a shared music track in Mario Kart 8. I would have at least liked a new remix, but whatever. Bowser's Pinball Table from Mario Party DS has always been better. This course reminds me of a Hat in Times DLC, which just makes me happy. Like Waluigi Pinball, the layout is kinda meh, but I think I like the aesthetic more than Waluigi Pinball, honestly. Alright, I'm just gonna antagonize myself even further. A pretty basic, but fun underwater course. I love the eel, and the fact that you start the course underwater makes it when the full music track plays when you get out of the water just truly a special moment. Like, it's a basic course, but I think it was executed really well. This is kind of the opposite of Dry Dry Desert, a great remake that turns a bad track into a good one. This track is beautiful. It's taking place during a fireworks show now, there's new underwater paths, and the freezes have been reeled back and they aren't nearly as punishing when you run into them. While I would have liked Mario Kart 64's Sherbert Land a bit more, this one was a great remake. This is basically Sky Garden, but better. It's got beanstalk elements, but also has a flying ship, lightning. Everything is a lot more interesting, and the music is amazing, being a remix of a Galaxy track. Mario Galaxy having one of my favorite OSTs of all time. My one main critique is that the lightning section is just a floating platform, which we'll dive into more later. Another great remake. This track is incredibly basic, but it's fun, and I love how it's now taking place during a sunset, making it truly beautiful. I love the theme of this course. The signs that lift different tracks are a really cool touch, not necessarily making each course feel connected, but it's more so just a fun Easter egg. I really like the course when you're driving on the planes, the runway, in the actual building, but my least favorite part, like Cloud Top Cruise, is the random floating platform you drive on. It feels really boring and honestly takes me out of the track, but the rest is incredibly solid. Paris Promenade is really interesting, only having 2 layouts unlike the other tour tracks, but it makes it feel a lot more grounded, honestly strengthening it instead of taking away from it. The 4-star courses are the truly great ones, but they're not the best of the best. Shroom Ridge is starting us off. Shroom Ridge is famous for being the opposite of famous, one of the more forgettable tracks in Mario Kart DS, but I feel everyone's a bit too hard on the guy. It's a really fun course with one of the best music tracks in the Booster Course Pass. It's incredibly fun in 200cc with some great shortcuts, it being a lot more fun dodging traffic here than in Toad's Turnpike in my opinion. Toad Harbor is just a really happy feeling track. Happy music, happy aesthetic, happy residents. It's just a really pleasant course. This is a really interesting rendition of Mario Circuit, going upside down and on the ceiling. It's a really cool take on this classic course, but it's not much more than that in my opinion. Honestly, you just feel like you're really exploring New York in this course. It's got a bunch of obstacles, different paths, different parks to go down. You got a building on the final lap with like a car park thing where you can see through the windows. It's a really explorative and fun track. I really like it. Animal Crossing is a nice name for a course. But honestly, I really like how they squeeze the Animal Crossing elements into this course. Speed boosting fruits, trekking on bridges, exploring the beach, even a Rossetti cameo. The different seasons also keep the track feeling pretty fresh. In fact, here's a mini ranking of all the seasons. In last place, it's easily summer, like it's just the most basic of the 4 seasons. In third place is spring. It's a really pretty course. I love the pink trees, but honestly, it just kind of feels like summer, but just better, which makes it it makes it good, but like, I don't know, they just are a bit too similar for my liking. In second place is fall. It's a really nice aesthetic, and I love how it's taking place during sunset. It's really pretty. Like, basically any course that's taking place during sunset is going to be pretty. And of course, in first place is winter. I really like ice levels, and if Merry Mountain never joins the battle, this will be the closest we ever get to a Christmas themed track. Which, like, that's not necessarily a bad thing because it's a really good Christmas themed track. Honestly, this track feels more like Animal Crossing than Amiibo Festival ever was. Mushroom Gorge is just fun. I like how the bouncy mushrooms kinda restrict your movement, making you plan out your moves in the mushroom cave. I really like the addition of the blue mushroom. Not exactly sure why, but I just do. I've heard people don't really like this course, but I love how they make an actual course out of a GBA track, which gives Mario Circuit 3 even less of an excuse. This one's fun. I like the chain chomps and the shortcuts, and while the theme isn't my favorite, it's still a highlight of the game for me. This is the course Nintendo just could not do themselves, getting Retro Studios to make it in Mario Kart 7, which I find pretty funny. But it's a good course. It feels right out of Donkey Kong Country Returns, which is a great game on the 3DS. Music Park is interesting, because while it's a really good course, I don't know if 8 was the best game to bring it back in, due to a much better music-themed course in this game. It's still great though. I love writing on the instruments, and the giant notes that slam into the ground in time with the music are spectacular. I feel Coconut Mall got a little butchered in Mario Kart 8, losing a lot of its personality. But now the cars do donuts, which is so good. I think it's much better than the Mii's, and it's funny and charming. What's not to love? Well, something that I don't love is that the escalators having giant arrows on them is a bit, like, kinda uncharming to me. Like, just having them not be so indistinguishable kinda was just like, yeah, it's a mall. Why would you have giant arrows on escalators? I don't know, it's not bad, but it's just a little video gamey to me. But come on, it's Coconut Mall. It's still a blast. Wario's Gold Mine was kinda meh in Mario Kart Wii. The carts were pretty annoying to dodge, but now they give you a speed boost, which is honestly genius, and it makes the track way better in my eyes, and I almost always love factory-themed courses in games. Like, this is just great. I love it. Big Blue just blows Mute City just out of the water. It's so much fun having 3 sections instead of 3 laps, water flowing through slides reminding me of Koopa Cape, with all that F-Zero charm. It's just so good. I usually like desert courses in gaming, which I feel is a pretty hot take, because since like, I hear literally every YouTuber say otherwise, but I feel this is a great example of a good desert course. The red sand and bone carcasses make it feel really unique, and I do like the pirate ship. I wish it played more of a role in the actual track, but still, I enjoy it a lot. This is basically the perfect first level. It introduced anti-gravity in an interesting way, and it's actually a pretty unique track in terms of first Mario Kart courses. And this is a much more interesting stadium than any of the Wario or Waluigi ones. Sydney Sprint is probably my favorite of Tourist City tracks. I like the boats and how you go inside buildings, and all the laps are pretty unique and fun. A great track that gets even better with the gimmick of changing layouts. The original Choco Mountain is like a 4 out of 10 track. It's really claustrophobic and overly long, and this remake basically fixes every issue I have with the original course. It's much brighter, there's more open space, which shows you how high you are. The cave has been expanded, it's not nearly as long. A great remake. It makes me really like this track now. The next 17 courses are what I consider to be the 5-star courses, the best of the best. The worst of the best courses, in my opinion, is Royal Raceway. This is just another happy feeling course with a really good layout. It's incredibly fun, and I love the aesthetic of racing by Peach's Castle. This is one of my favorite water-based courses in the series. The theme of an amusement park is so good, kind of like in a more interesting baby park. It's fun as well. I love how you can bump into the carts on the loop, and the music change when you get near the merry-go-round is a really neat touch. This is not the best Haunted Mansion course. Luigi's Mansion is better. That being said, this track is incredible. The water and walls that eat you and the twisting floors make this a really neat track. And I love the boos attacking you through the statues. It's just a blast. They made a good course out of an outline of Yoshi. That's just impressive. Though I will always miss the Yoshi helicopter. This is what Mario Circuit 3 should have been. Hills, underwater, layout changes, looking beautiful. This is everything Mario Circuit wishes it could have been. This is possibly the most replayable course in the game. There's so many different paths to take, and it's really fun. The best course of Booster Course Pass Wave 1. Excite Bike Arena is an interesting course. I love all the bumps and all the tricking you can do. It's really fun. And I'm glad that they reference Excite Bike because it's just, well, like I said, it's just fun. I adore the aesthetic of this one. It makes it so special. I love all the Nintendo references in the background, the minis, bitty buggies, puzzles with Baby Mario on the cover, Mario Kart 8 posters. It's a really cool idea, and I love it. Also, the layout is spectacular. The flowing ribbon road is fun to trick off of. Dodging Mecha Koopas is great. I love this track. TikTok Clock basically got the perfect remake in this game, keeping the original vision intact but upgrading it in every way, adding verticality, anti-gravity, clock pieces to dodge while not compromising on the experience at all. Also, the idea is just great. TikTok Clock and Mario 64 always had great mechanics and an amazing aesthetic. The pain was always playing it, so putting it in a different form that complements the experience so much more is an amazing concept. I always loved Calamari Desert. The train gimmick was always something I loved, but I think they did an even better job with this remake than I ever expected. Incorporating elements of Calamari Desert 2 from Mario Kart Tour, now you drive on the train tracks and it's really fun. And it's just a really cool novelty experiencing this classic track in a new way. Snowland was one of the more unexpected courses to appear in the Booster Course Pass, but I'm glad they decided to remake it because it's fantastic. The penguins feel perfectly timed, where it's hard to dodge, but not unfair, and I love the shortcut you can take in 200cc. It's really unique and reminds me of the gap jump in Mushroom Gorge. The track also is just great aesthetically. I love the shiny ice, and being simple isn't a bad thing. You just have to make things interesting, and I think Snowland passes with flying colors. This is the happiest feeling of all the tracks. It truly feels like you're exploring a community in the trees, that everyone here is cheering you on and everything. Is it better than Maple Tree Way? No, but that's a really high bar to jump, and it does really good anyway. Like Snowland, this track is incredibly simple, but in my opinion that's not to a fault. The layout is very unique compared to the game's original Mario Circuit, and the way they incorporated anti-gravity is very fun, even if it isn't subtle in the slightest. I don't know, I just really like racing on this one. This is one of the most bombastic Bowser castles, and personally my favorite in the series. The giant Bowser statues, flowing roads, the statues firing lasers referencing Mario 3, they're all amazing. And the rock music blaring in the background makes it feel like a dangerous place. A massive step up from Mario Kart 7's pretty disappointing Bowser's Castle. This is the track that makes Music Park feel a little unnecessary, because this is basically perfect. I love all the anti-gravity mechanics, and it's an incredibly exciting track. I don't know how you can possibly not like this one. Our latest original track is my pick for one of the best courses in the series. The water physics and constant anti-gravity makes it feel exciting and fresh. And it's like a true step up from any of the base game courses. I can understand if you don't like this course, but I always have a lot of fun playing on it. And that's what video games are supposed to be at the end of the day. This is my second favorite course in the franchise. This track is so fun. The three sections of this course are so interesting but complement each other so well. Each one a blast in their own right. The music is truly euphoric. The different paths through the forest, the great visuals, it's so good. Top of the class. I don't trust anyone who doesn't like this course. But yeah, that's my ranking at this moment in time. It might and probably will change in the future, but this is how I feel right now. I'd love to hear your criticism and see your guys' personal lists. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.